A very, very warm welcome, Anisha.
Thanks, Rashmi.
Hi, everybody. Here am I to talk about the menstrual cup, why and how of it, with Anisha Das. She's worked in India doing PR for agencies and in social sector for many years. She moved to UK in 2017 and started volunteering for the aged, and finally landed up in office and support role, and is trying to do her bit to in a personal capacity to keep the philanthropy going. We met up in Kolkata when we both of us were volunteering for Danatsav. We also worked in the office for a short stint. A very, very warm welcome.
Thanks, Rashmi. Thank you for such a lovely introduction.
Welcome. So, Anisha, I will just start from the start. Like, it's been a couple of years, I think 3 to 4 years ago. You mentioned that you're using the menstrual cup when we were in Kolkata. And, like, I heard about it from you, but really didn't take it up at that point in time. And it's only 5 months ago I actually started using it when I, accidentally saw it in a Mela Bazaar, and it's just bought it like that. And I have been like a convertee after that. Like, it's been an absolute pleasure using that cup, an absolute convertee, and absolutely, I've been talking about it all the while, since last 5 months. I just want to understand, how was it for you? When did you hear about it? How did you start using it? So how was the whole thing for you?
So it was something which has been there in my mind for, say, about last. So I started using this probably 6 years back,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just before I started using it was about probably 2 months back that I started reading up a bit about it.
Mm-hmm.
I was very skeptical using it initially because obviously we have not been trained to do so from the time we have started using sanitary pads.
Right.
So, but and the more you read up, I think those inhibitions somehow go away.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought I was very skeptical ordering my first cup as well because I didn't know if I will use it at all. But
Right.
having said that, I did end up ordering a cup,
Okay.
and because I had read a lot about it and because I had done my research,
Right.
I think it went very smooth with me. Touch wood, and I think it has been an absolute game changer. And also the fact that I was looking for something which was more sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
You are not adding to landfill, you are not adding to any kind of stuff that you don't want things to be around for decades.
Right.
So I think it was a conscious move, and I'm happy that are picking up a conversation today, something like this, which I think would probably benefit or would probably give an idea to a lot of women, and especially women who've been thinking to consciously make a move and have not been able to do it for maybe years or months.
Right. So I would be one of them, right? Like, long, long back. And I was like, in my head, it was like, I don't know if I really want to use a cup. I mean, how does one even, put something in your body, something as tangible as a plastic cup? How does one do that? So I was really skeptical in my head. I knew a lot about it. I heard a lot about it. I read a lot about it. And I had somebody I knew was vouching for it in person. And still, I had such strong inhibitions. It's like, strong shields against it. I had it. And it was only after using it for me, I realized what it was. Like, the first time once I bought it, I knew I would use it. I would at least give it a try. Once I used it, the first one I used it, I was like, oh my god, this is like, as you said, game changer. This like changes everything in my life. It's not just about 5 months. It's like a lot of things that goes along with the thought process, because you keep start thinking about the periods the whole time, like, okay, 4 days to come, 5 days to come, it's like you keep on counting the days when you're going to have period, because you'll be down, you'll be really down during those periods, because not just because of the flow, but also because of the many things that come with it, like, you might get a strain, what kind of flow this month it will be like, and and many other questions that come with it. So like, yeah, I would also want to understand how was it for you.
So when I started using it for the first time, obviously, I think putting a foreign body into your body is always very difficult, and especially the first time experience for anything in life is very very different. I will not say it's difficult, but it's different. So it took me some time as well adjusting to the so-called new thing. uh, but I think it took me probably a couple of 3 4 months or 5 months to get used to the new thing. And once I have gotten used to the new thing, it's very difficult to go back to what I was using initially. um, and I think also it's time that probably a lot of people are thinking of making a conscious step to make things better in their life. I think probably it's time that they think about the benefits, because it's extremely budget friendly. You buy it once in your lifetime, and that's it. So you are not going and buying different kinds of pads. You're not buying tampons. You are just buying one product. But sometimes, having said that, it might happen that it might not be the right size for you. So
Mm.
I will come to that bit later. So
Mm.
in that case, you might have to invest on a separate product. So these products are extremely eco-friendly. They do not get into the landfill,
Mm.
because I was reading somewhere that approximately, I think, 16,000 tampons, panty liners, and sanitary pads uh, in our lifetime, which we use, goes into a landfill. And it takes them about 500 to 800 years to decompose,
So
which
thinking
is
that, yeah,
which is a huge thing.
right.
So I think Rashmi, also, I'm sure you will have a lot of things about benefits. I'm sure you would want to add to.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. So firstly, I want to, just put it out there that for 25, 27 years I've been using the pads, right? Like, it's been
Yeah.
like 7 years of, like, since the age of 13 till I'm 40 today. So, yeah, putting out my age out there.
That's just a number. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, so 27 years of my life using pads, man. And I'm 5 months, and in 5 months I'm like, oh, I got something. And how do I not talk about it? Like, it's like, how do I not talk about something that I'm not scared that I will not get a stain on my bed sheet, man? If I get a stain on my bed sheet, I'll be the one who will have to wash it right in the morning. Like, these were the, and you're having a heavy flow at night, you can't figure that out, right? You sleeping, there's a lot of things that goes out in your head when you're going through your periods. You know what, after using, it's just been 5 months and using, I just forgot about the fact that I'm, on there were days when I just forgot that, okay, I'm putting something, a foreign thing in my body. I just forgot about it. Like those, fourth or third or fourth day, I just forgot about it. So, these are the, when I think of that, these are the things which make me so happy. Like, it's like it's, oh my god, it's really changed my life. I can't believe that. Otherwise it will be like, even for the fifth day I would have to use a pad. Like, you don't know, you might be, flow might come, might not come, that's a different thing altogether, but you have got to use the pad, right? And pad is something that you might get rashes. So a lot
Yeah,
of
absolutely.
rashes is a big deal. And then
And I
yeah.
yes, I think also with not only with pads, I think with tampons also there is something called the toxic shock syndrome, which is a very scary thing. So I'm sure a lot of people nowadays are using tampons. It's only because it's easy. It gives you much more comfort. It gives you much more flexibility to do a lot of more things in life, like activities, swimming. But if you look at the negative side of using a tampon, I think that's quite a high risk. So, and if you're using a thing like a cup, you have more flexibility in terms of all your outdoor activities. You can sleep with it overnight. And also, I don't know, a lot of people might not be aware, but a cup actually holds much more blood than any other sanitary product would do.
Yes.
uh, and honestly, it's as easy, like, so if you're changing say 3 or 4 or 5 times a day, depending on how heavy your flow is, for a cup you would probably change, just have to empty it twice or thrice a day. That, I mean, twice a day, which is like good. See, it might be a little bit messy initially, but when once you get used to something, you don't find it difficult at all. So it's as easy as that.
Right. So I would, use the analogy of using lenses for your eyes. So,
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good one.
if once you're using those eye lenses, first or second or third time, you will have difficulty in putting it inside your, on your ears, sorry, on your eyes, on your like lenses. And once you get a hang of it, yes, please, no, I don't want, thank you. Yeah. Yeah. So, once you get a hang of it, you know how to do it. And once you get a hang of it, you're really okay with it. So, it's as simple as that. First month, first day is difficult. Second day is
Yeah,
even difficult. At times, you don't know how to even pull it out. At times, you get, initial days. But once you know how to use it, it's really, like, it's so easy, so easy. Yeah. So, yeah, I would totally say the analogy of lenses works really fits well over
yeah,
here.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Right. So,
And to be honest, when you look at the positive and negative side to it, I mean, it is something which probably will depend on an individual to look at.
mhm,
But I am sure there are a lot of women out there who have been thinking for a while, okay, I want to do this, or I want to, but so what happens is, for most of us, uh we take a foot, I mean, we move ahead and then we take 2 steps back,
mhm,
because we are not sure, because we are scared, because this is something new.
mm,
So I think breaking those inhibitions to use something new, or just to break that barrier
right,
of, and kind of get away from that scary thing, is very much needed. And trust me, when you start using it, I don't think you will ever regret it. And we honestly, we have struggled for I don't know how many years in our lives. We are still, probably a lot of us are struggling with
right,
pads, with tampons, but this is going to make your life much more easy than you think.
right. And it's as simple as, you for it to use, you just have to boil it once, and that's
Yeah,
about absolutely reusable for life, as you already said. You don't have to.
yeah,
Can I add something here?
Yes, Hina.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. So I am that one person who has like gone and tried to look at, like, read a lot about it, gone into the, like, even chosen one, been there on the payment phase, and still, still having that final second thought that no, I don't want to use it right now. I'm not sure whether it would even be worth a buy or not. So
Yeah.
yeah, I am in that stage right now. So I thought maybe if I join here, I'll get to know something about it, and then I'll be like sure, like what am I supposed to do it now?
Right.
Yeah. So to be honest, Hina, I think the some of the basic questions that we always have in mind. I mean, you have at least reached a stage where you know that there is a product out there.
Mm,
There are different kind of products, and you can pick and choose. A lot of women still don't know that there are different kind of products available for different age groups, different shapes. So I think considering the size is something, size of the cup is something which you might want to consider, because hi RA3, so somebody else has joined us. Um, so I think considering the size, buying the size of the right cup is very important, which depends on a couple of factors, like what is your age, what is the size of your crevates, what is your flow like. So I think that is the key factor that should come to your mind before buying a cup. Once you have bought the right cup, I think from there on things become a little easier, because it's the right size, it fits you. And you might have initially, you might feel that, okay, my cup is getting full and I am not sure as to when do I have to empty it. But like I said, You don't have to empty it more than 2 to 3 times a day. So once you start using it, you will probably start getting a hang of things. There might be a little bit of discomfort initially, also because there is a foreign thing in your body, like Rashmi said, like it's a lens in your eye, and you have to get used to it eventually over the time. So that might take some time, but all this goes away with time. So I'm guessing, Hina, you are on the right track, and you will eventually get there. I hope that you can get there after our conversation, so we will be very happy.
Yeah, I think I definitely had these questions, right? Like, I see there are so many varieties out there. I
Yeah,
go to one site and I see some specifications, then I go to another and there is like absolutely something different. Then definitely size was definitely one more factor that I was thinking about. And
yeah,
yeah, at the end, there are so many choices. Again, if you're just looking at this product, again, you get a little confused.
yeah.
But yeah, I think unless I actually go ahead and try, it would be,
Yeah,
I think I have to do that. Yeah.
I guess.
And if you read up a bit, Hina, you will also realize that picking a right size is also not very difficult. It just depends on how much you're reading it. If you start reading about different products, you will eventually get to the right size.
Yeah. So there is a question on Facebook. Aishwarya Lakshmi is asking, what about the risk of infections? How does one ensure that it is cleaned properly?
So the cleaning is very simple, Aishwarya. All you have to do is, so before you use a product, like you would use, so in earlier days when we used to use feeding bottles for children, we used to boil them in water. So I don't know, I don't have children, so maybe they do the same right now, but I'm not aware of that. Pardon me for that. But all you have to do is you just have to boil the silicone cup in hot water and clean it and wipe it dry and then use it. And similarly, when you take it out, obviously if you're using it on the day of your period, you don't have to clean it, you just have to take it out and put it back again. But once your periods are over, you have to take it out, boil it back again, wipe it with a soap water, and just keep it in the pouch or the bag that you have got.
Okay, I think Rupa has a question. Rupa, please go ahead and ask your question. आप पूछिए.
Okay. Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, Rashmi.
Hi. Hi, Rupa.
Hi. Ma'am, I never used this one, so I asked that at the age of 47, can I start from now?
Absolutely, Rupa. There is no age to it. आप इसको कभी भी शुरू कर सकते हो. Whenever you feel you are ready.
Yeah.
If you feel that okay, I am ready to try it,
Yes.
till the time you try it, it
Yeah.
is very difficult for you to understand the life changing experience that you will have. But it's just about coming out for the first time and trying it. But like I said, I have been insisting this for a while, that before you try it,
Yeah.
make sure that you select the right size, because if you end up buying a wrong size,
Yeah.
your experience might not be good, and then you might not want to give it a second try.
That's right.
So
Thank you, ma'am.
so you can do it,
Okay.
definitely.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
Yeah. So there's another question. Will a menstrual cup cause pain or discomfort? I guess we've already responded to that.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
it
this,
does not.
yeah, absolutely not. It's just that you have to figure how to put it inside and how to take it out. Once you figure that, and there is always, when you buy a cup, there is always an instruction manual in there. So once you follow that instruction manual, you will absolutely be able to know how to use it and how to, put it inside and take it out, and how to preserve it, how to sterilize it, and how to reuse it again and again. One of the funny things that I feel is that, after the experience that I had, is that I'm just wondering why people are not talking about it. Like, I'm really
Yes.
amazed. And it's absolutely revolutionary, right? You are not causing there's environmental cost to the pads. There's a cost of the pads. One uses a lot of bleach while making those pads, so it's not really good for us as well, because it's a very private place we are using for 24/7 for 5 days altogether, and month after month. It's not something that you're using once like that. And we already have such a beautiful alternative. I just do not understand why the government and more people are talking about it. It's just I'm just amazed about it, because as I said, I knew about it many years ago. So it took so much of time for me to be converted. I wonder, what's your take on it? Like,
So I think, Rashmi, it's also because I mean, when we were teenagers and we started our first periods, it is also the line of thought that we come from. So I think even today, everybody, the normal route that people take is our mothers or our elder family members, female family members would suggest us to use a pad, not even a tampon, to be honest, at that time.
yeah,
So I think we all are kind of, still in that thought process, and therefore taking the plunge to something new is always difficult. uh, I think, and also the fact that there are still a lot of women
Mhm.
who are skeptical about using it. Like you said, you were very skeptical. I mean, you have known it for last 5 years, 6 years, but it took you 5 years or 4 years or 3 years to convert yourself. So I think
Time.
that is something which, and also I think a lot of talk needs to happen, because this is a topic where we have a lot of silence and lot of taboo or stigma attached to it.
Yeah, I'm just
So,
talking. Why such silence?
yeah, and to be honest, periods is a very normal thing. So a lot of people don't talk about it in the open, and I'm talking about women. I'm talking about women, and I'm talking about educated women. So who don't open up about it. So until unless you have these healthy conversations, it is very difficult to move to something or to make a right choice or an informed choice. So I think these conversations need to happen.
Exactly. Exactly. It was one of the primary reasons I wanted to have this conversation with you, because firstly, you have been using it for such a long time. Secondly, of course, I came to know about the whole thing from you. And I needed somebody to just open her heart and talk about it. Man, I'm like, why is I feeling as if pads have become such a people are so close. It's like so close to their heart, as if sanitary pad is something they've been driving it for ages. Okay, I mean, it was relevant ages back. Cloth pad and many biodegradable pads and everything. Great, it was very relevant like 7 years, 10 years ago from today. But now that we have something as easy and as cheap, economical as a cup, why would anybody ever go back? I mean, I can never ever think of using pads. Why would anybody ever go back to pads? Like, it's absolutely, I missed the point. And for some reason, I remember, government had been driving those, condom ads. I think Nirod and all, when we were little small children.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember. And what's up with the government? Why is the government not talking about it?
That's also because, Rashmi, because we need to understand that the government generates a lot of revenue from it.
That's
Uh,
the
I mean, the silicone cups are not expensive at all, and you buy it once and it's like for your lifetime. So you're basically not spending. But then with products like, I think, Whisper and Carefree and many more, I think government is generating a huge revenue out of it. So I think that is one aspect, and the second is also, like I said, the mind shift needs to happen. So it might not happen with, I mean, no offense, age here is no bar, but people who are sitting in, say, probably good positions in the government, who are decision makers, might not belong to that school of thought.
yes.
So that is probably another reason why the shift is not happening. And as always, like, we have not been talking about this in the open. and therefore I think this shift is also not happening. But I think this shift will definitely happen with more and more women getting to know about it, more and more women trying to experiment with it. I'm hopeful that this shift will happen very soon.
Yeah, and you talked about the government. I'm just thinking that now it's high time the youth takes up the baton, even in the government field. I mean, it's glad that we just today we had this education, the whole overhaul that was pending for a very long time. Thankfully, in the same way, in other things also, maybe youth needs to take up the baton and really, because they have a perspective over things, over new things in
Yeah,
life.
absolutely.
Yeah, and
And I think they're more experimental, to be honest. I mean,
exactly. And the whole thing, the way life in the world is changing is pretty quick. And
yeah,
government
absolutely.
also realizes and understand that, boss, like, let's retire and let new people get into the places.
Let me people get in. Absolutely.
Yeah, I hope the government is listening to us. Maybe
Yeah.
it reaches them some point in time. There's a question that Hina is asking. She's saying, what's the difference between tampon and a cup, and why is cup better than the tampon? I think you slightly mentioned about it. Could you
Yes.
again reiterate? Yeah,
So to answer quickly, Hina, a cup is basically made out of silicone. A silicone is a biodegradable product. So if you don't want to use a cup, you throw it away. It just degrades in over the time. But a tampon is made out of hard cotton, so which again takes ages to degrade. So that's the environmental side of things. Now, coming to the usage of things, it's very similar to use, because both of the products are something which you would put inside your body. But having said that, if you're using tampons, and especially if you're sleeping with a tampon on, one of the common things which have been reported is a toxic syndrome, which is a toxic TSS, which is a toxic shock syndrome, where basically it starts with a little bit of fever in your body, and then because the tampon is in your body, and it's kind of creating a reaction in your body which your body is not able to accept. You might get into um, some kind of infection uh, in your vagina. You might get into some kind of infection which is to do with your private parts. Now, this is very, very commonly reported with tampons. Um, but it depends on individual. But one advice is never sleep with your tampons on. That's something which nobody should do. If you're using a tampon just to go out and go out for a sports, go out for anything, come back, change, move. If you're not using a cup, move to a pad and then sleep for the night. Uh, Also, I think the difference is the fact that a tampon can only hold a certain bit of blood. It cannot hold a huge amount, whereas the cup can hold a lot more blood. So you might not have to change it. So you change it. So before you sleep, you empty your cup and then you sleep with it throughout the night, and then you don't change it anymore till the morning. So that gives you a lot of, so you're sleeping with something which you don't have to change, so which is a great thing. So
Yeah. So this
I think these
explains a
are
lot more. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
no problem. So that's mainly about it.
right. So I was also wondering, this we with the use of pad, we never came to know what was our flow like, and we could never understand. But yeah, but with a cup, we know, like, which month, how much the flow is, and I
Yes.
think it helps in, even my iron intake. So if the flow is too heavy, then I take more iron intake. I increase my iron intake that way. So I think that is also something which it helps us understand our own body and what is happening, what are our emotions, what are, how does it feel that, the whole thing that, okay, I mean, this month I had this much of flow, next month I might have lower or higher. So you kind of, and you can measure it. I
Yeah.
find that very powerful.
And I think, to be honest, one of the most powerful factors, which I don't know if Rashmi you will agree with me or not, is the fact that you you don't have to wear something which is sticky, which is moist, which is which is smelly. I don't know what all comes to your mind, but you are just wearing something inside. It's just like your normal day.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
whatever is happening inside your body and not externally.
Have to bother with it. I think that's the most beautiful part, because when you're using a pad, there's a specific smell of the blood which comes from you. You can't help it. You know that you're bleeding and it's happening to you. You live with that smell for 5 days altogether. But when you're using the cup, there's absolutely no smell at all. I think that is also very interesting.
Yeah. But having said that, I know a lot of people who have, I mean, I've spoken to a couple of people who have started using cups, but they have been so they are not sure if their cups would leak. That's a question which I'm sure a lot of people will have.
Mm-hmm.
If their cup would leak.
Mm-hmm.
Ideally, your cup should not leak if it's the right size. But I know a lot of people who've been wearing cups as well as pads because with the fear that it would leak. So that's probably because you've not got the right size for you. So like I have already insisted, so getting the right size is the primary thing when you buy a cup. And if you buy the size wrong, then probably your experience might be so bad that you might not want to go back to it ever again.
Right. Yeah, so I guess, Rupa, that helps you answer the question. You will have to, it can be a trial and error method. You
Yeah,
will
absolutely.
have to go and check it out and buy. Maybe you'll buy 2 or maximum 3 cups in a lifetime, right? Even if you're just trying out with different sizes, even if you're making a mistake in buying the right size the first time,
Absolutely.
it's not a big deal that you're going to buy, but it's saves you from buying and thinking about, okay, oh my god, you have to carry a pad everywhere around. And even if you're anywhere in a restaurant, anywhere, just go to a washroom, take the cup out, wash it off, take it off, put it inside again, and you're fresh to go. You're as good to go. And yes, I mean, I don't think that I haven't actually used it while swimming, but I can't imagine there would be any problem using that. Like
No, there isn't any problem when you do a physical activity or swimming, because it's like when you can swim with the tampoons on, right? So
right,
why would you not swim with your cups on? It's as simple as that.
absolutely,
Provided your cup is of the right size, which I've been mentioning over and over again.
yes,
But if you're still confused about the size, like for example, women who've given birth to children, or I mean, there are two categories we are dealing with. We are dealing with women who are in their adolescence, who've not had any sexual activity. For them, probably the smallest of cup size would be the right one. Whereas if you're a woman who is 35 and above, and if you've given a childbirth, your size will be a bit more on the larger side. So, but there is enough help out there on the internet figuring out the right size. It might take you some while, but you will eventually get there. For
right.
me, I was lucky because I think I picked up the right size on the very first time. So probably the experience has been good. But had I not picked up the right size, I would have probably gone back and forth again. Who knows? But yeah.
Yeah, even I picked up the right size. So yeah, I think that was great for me. So being a mother, I would put a disclaimer out here that maybe people were listening to us. Maybe you might use pads for little girls for a while.
Yeah.
And once they grow up a little and take their own decisions, and they know themselves a little better, maybe a 13-year-old, 14-year-old, or 15-year-old even would not know their own body in a really good way.
Yeah.
So maybe they can wait a little. But women who have children, women who are married, they can absolutely, I think, take up cups. I don't think there's any issue out there. But yes, do not take a decision on the basis of the conversation we are having now. The conversation
Absolutely.
we are having now is to create an awareness about it. But do your own research, do your own, take time to take it up if you have to. Do your own trial and error method. Go to the doctors, understand how to use it, and then use it. So do not, this is a disclaimer I'm just putting out there. So this is not something that we are telling that you must use it, and you have to do your own research before you use it. Don't take our words. We are talking because we had very good experiences, and
Yeah, and we wanted to share it with everybody because I think this is something which would benefit, I mean, every woman, to be honest. But like Rashmi said, I'm absolutely with her on the same page with her. Please don't go by what we are saying. Use your own decision, use informed decision to make a choice for yourself or for your daughters.
right, absolutely. So I do not see any question on Facebook. Mm, yeah. Uh, and do we have any questions in here? Doesn't look.
I think, how do we, okay, so I have a question
Yeah.
which says, how we select the size, just explain. Okay, thank you. Okay, now, I think, like I said, selecting a size will depend on your age, will depend on your flow, will depend on the size of the cervix, will depend on how sexually active you are. Uh, Now, this is something which differs from individual to individual. So there is a lot of guide out there, especially when you're buying cups from I mean, I would suggest do your research online and then go, if you prefer buying it over a shop, do your research online and then go to a shop and buy it, because I'm sure the whoever is handling the stuff in the shop will be equally not capable of answering your questions. So it is better to do your research online. There is lot of stuff out there, a lot of stuff in the internet. So I'm sure they would help you. They would guide you how to select your size. Hope this answers your question.
Right. Yeah, I have put up a link, so that it's one of the links. There are many links, that talk about the menstrual cup. I've just put up Facebook and the chat box here, so you can go to that link and read more about what WHO is saying about the cups.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
And if any of you have any queries, you can reach Rashmi or you can reach me. We will be happy to answer. But I'm sure you will have a lot of stuff out there in the internet.
right. So, one of the things, since you've also worked in a non-profit sector, I work in a non-profit sector. So, one of the things that comes to me, I can just, I'm just wondering and imagining what a world or what a country like India would be with so many women out there, 1.3 billion, people we are, out of which half of us are women, and out of which a lot, maybe 30, 40, 50, 60% of women are above 30. So, if all of us start using cups, what will be the environmental factor? How will it affect the environment? How will it affect the women's life? The quality of life, that the way it changes for us. What a I think it will be a leap, huge leap, if all the
It is going to be a huge leap.
right. And think of the women who are on the street, and
Yeah.
start if they start using, if we wonder कि how कैसे manage करते हैं, कहाँ धोते हैं, even कपड़ा धोते हैं, worked in Gunj, तो कपड़ा धोते हैं, कहाँ धोते हैं, कैसे सुखाते हैं, क्या करते हैं. There's so many questions that one deals with, and Gunj does a tremendous beautiful job attending to them. If just menstrual cup comes to their life, how does it, how much their life also changes.
I think also the fact that Rashmi, I'm glad that you mentioned this, because having worked in a charity sector for quite some time now, I have also realized that, like when we used to work in different cities, even you've worked in different cities in India, there are charities who are doing great work, but they are probably giving out sanitary pads to women. So that thing, I think that mind shift needs to happen even at the level of the charity, where we are talking about, I'm not talking about every charity. I'm talking about, at least if you're talking about making a conscious shift from sanitary pad to a cup, that thing also has to come from their level, and then it can reach the grassroots. So that awareness has to come. So I think that is a very important thing that we are looking at this point of time, because one is, ho- even for the charities, how much accessible you can make a product. I mean, if you are, say there are, say, 30 women that you deal with in a village. So how typically charities work would be on funding, on support from an outsider. So just imagine if you are getting funding from an outside, and you're spending that money buying pads or sanitary products for women.
Yeah.
Instead of doing that, you're buying a cup for them, which is for their lifetime, and then and whatever rest funding comes, you channelize it for the other betterment of other aspects of betterment of women. Would be something which I would want to see charities heading towards. And charities especially who are dealing with women health, women hygiene, feminine hygiene, I think the feminine hygiene, I think these are the stuff that charities can look at.
Absolutely. I would totally vouch for it. I think charities, along with the government drives, I think can really, bring that change and, that dream of that, and
Absolutely.
where everybody uses the cup is, might come true one day. So, yeah, so that is something that we can always hope. If there are any questions, I'll let you check on Facebook. I can't see any. Okay. So yeah, anything else you would like to talk about? There are no questions as such, and we kind of
I think we have covered it almost. I think we've covered almost everything to do with this particular topic. Uh, I think the first step is to just come out of just change your mindset. Just just try and take a plunge. The first step is always difficult. Uh, so just take a plunge. Don't think about it. Order a wrong size, reorder a new size again, keep trying till the time you succeed. And once you succeed, I'm sure you will probably reach out to us, or you will reach out to somebody who has told you about this, uh, and probably you will know what life-changing experience it is.
yeah, I would say the same, and yeah, let's just go for it. Just
Yeah,
go.
just go for it.
Do
don't
not
don't think too much.
yeah, do not wait too much.
Yeah, do not wait too much. We've all waited. I mean, we've all waited 35 years. Somebody has waited 40 years. We just spoke to, I think, Rupa, who's probably 47 or something. So we all have waited. So why wait for it? Just go ahead.
Just go ahead. Now that we have the technology, why wait? Wait for
Yeah, absolutely. But having said that, I think we will end it at a note that, uh, so, so I know Rashmi for a long time. And she's tremendous in terms of whatever she does. So I think Rashmi and me will definitely come together again with topics which are so-called stigmatized, and with topics which are not discussed in the open, because that's what we both love doing. So yes. So we both love dealing with topics which are not supposed to be spoken about, and we will definitely come, hopefully sometime soon, with something more interesting and something which I'm sure more and more and more women would like to know about.
yes. Let the conversation begin.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you, Rashmi, so much for your time. Thank you, whoever has joined us. Thank you all for your time and for listening to us. hopefully we have been able to inspire you or motivate you in some way or the other.
Figure out yourself. Disclaimer.
Yes, disclaimer, figure it out yourself.
So, thanks so much for joining.
Well, thank you all. Well, we'll see you soon with something else.
Yes.
Bye.